Welcome to Satsunami. Hello everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of Satsunami. I'm Satsunami, and today I'm joined by a very good... I'm getting the compliments out the way first. I'm saying a very good streamer, really awesome person, the one and only, of course, Alex Blurry. Alex, thank you so much for coming on Satsunami today.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. You know, when you were saying that, when you were introducing me, you said you're joined by a very good streamer, and you stopped like... I expect you to go, I can't say this. I can't just lie straight away. I'm joined by a streamer. Technically a streamer.
Yeah. It's like, cut, can we cut that, please? No.
Yeah. But it's fantastic to be here. Thank you very much. I've been looking forward to coming onto your podcast for ages, for so long.
Yeah, it's honestly been long overdue. I kept saying to you, oh, do you want to come on? And you kept saying, yeah. And I was just like dangling the carrot, like, are you sure you want to come on here? Are you sure? It's like, yeah. I just needed to get my act together. Because actually I was looking through my backlog of the ones that I've already done with other streamers. So far I've interviewed Blowfishman TV and Stubborn Zombie. Again, two really lovely people and amazing streamers as well. And yeah, you're the first streamer that I've talked to on Satsunami for 2021. So yeah, wow. Kicking it off strong.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I feel as if I put like a little bit of pressure there on you to be like, it's like, yeah, you're the first person. Don't mess this up. Don't.
Yeah, my heart is fluttering. My hands are shaking.
That's me.
My voice is getting crackly.
It's like, I don't want to be on.
I'll do my best to be good. Yeah.
No, you're doing fine. You're doing better than me. And
no, it's all good. It's all good.
I was going to say, and I'm the one who's here every week, so you're doing better than me. I was actually just trying to think, like, how we actually bumped into each other on Twitch, because this is something that I think about when, like, I visit other people's streams or I'm talking to them. You know, it's like you're talking to people and you've been talking to them for ages and, you know, getting friendly, and then you think, wait, how did this all start? And I think with us, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm probably going to say, like, one thing and you'll be like, well, actually. But I'm sure it was a raid from NAF.
I would imagine so, yes.
It must have been. I can't remember if you were playing... Were you playing Pokemon at the time? Or was it something?
I would have been. I was trying to do some sort of Pokemon Nuzlocke, and NAF had raided me. It was like one of my first few streams, actually. And NAF, at the time, he... like, I didn't know who he was. At the time, he was doing this thing where he was raiding just random small streamers at the end of all of his streams. So he popped into mine, and I got a little boost of followers that, like, I've stuck around. People that are like I would just consider friends now. Yeah. Which is really cool. And I'd say it came from that, because there was like a bit of back and forth then between me and NAF. So I think if you're linked in with NAF, then that makes sense.
Yeah, because funny enough, I feel as if like Pokemon, and by extension playing Pokemon games on Twitch, is like a kind of unifying like glue to attract like different streamers together, because it was my friend Green Shield and I, it was a couple of months ago, I think it was when I was kind of early on into streaming, we were playing a Pokemon Emerald Nuzlocke, and I think just by chance, like, NAF was kind of like, you know, bouncing from stream to stream, and he came in, and then of course I like popped into his stream, like, I think the next day when he started streaming. It's like this weird rabbit hole that, like, someone pops into your stream and then you think, oh, I'll check out their channel. And then you check out their channel and then they raid someone else. And yeah, this is why we're here today. Because of one raid too many. It's like...
it's one too many. These are the origin stories. Yeah, well, I guess that's the thing, especially with all the Pokemon streamers. Now, I wouldn't call myself a Pokemon streamer. I just do whatever, you know, it's just whatever kind of pops into my head at the time. But it is a game that I keep going back to. But the thing with, like, at least certainly our group of Pokemon streamers that we seem to be all connected with, we're all just a little bit weird, and that's quite nice. You know, it's not your typical streamer. It's more of like someone who's, I don't know, just a little bit memey, if that makes sense. You know, people who are not taking themselves seriously at all and really able to make like kind of just a joke out of themselves, and it's all a similar sense of humor that seems to be traveling across our little group.
It is quite nice when you kind of click with people who have like the same kind of humor, like especially with streaming as well. It's like that kind of like, I mean, have you ever felt that way when you're kind of flicking through different streamers and there's like some that you might not click with, and then there's like some where you're watching them and you think, yeah, they're getting a follow. Kind of
Absolutely. I think I know almost instantly. Yeah, you can just tell. You just get the energy from them or something like that.
It's a good origin story, at least, to bring up. Like later on to be like, yeah, no, they were playing Pokemon or they were playing whatever. Yeah. So it's always good. It's something I was quite curious about because, of course, your handle on Twitch is Alex Blurry, of course.
It is.
But I feel kind of like privileged in a way to know like what your handle was before that. Bloody negative. Yeah.
Before the accident.
Before the witness protection.
Yes. You've just put it out there. I have to change my name again.
I do. I mean, it rhymes with slurry negative. It's like, oh god, right, where's the end stream button?
No, yes, so you're wondering where that name came from?
Yeah.
The original name?
Yeah.
So Blurry Negative is the name that I use for my YouTube channel. And like a year or two ago, I started a YouTube channel. I suppose it's a year or two now. God, lockdown kind of, a whole year has passed and you can't really even count that as a year. So it kind of just feels like it was a year ago. But if we count lockdown, yeah, 2 years ago. So I'd started a YouTube channel where I was going around just different places in Ireland taking photographs with analog cameras. So the old film cameras that would use 35mm film, the kind that you have to get developed.
Oh yeah.
It's very, very hipster, but it's like it's my biggest passion. I just absolutely love that retro photography. I have a good collection of old film cameras that I have. So what I would do is I would pick one of them and I'd make a video about that, or kind of just use that to make a video about a certain place I was going to, or a new type of film that I was using. So all the cool kids in the analog community have really cool names. So like one guy that I really like, he's the best analog photography YouTuber out there. His name is Grainy Days, which is really good because grain is a part of film photography. That's what we talk about. Like, you love that grain. There's certain types of 35mm film that have like just really fine, beautiful grain. I don't know if I can describe it well enough. I'd say most people know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, there's like people like him. They all have these really cool names. It's like, I need a cool name. I need a name other than just my own that would be good for a YouTube channel. So it was like, okay, so what is a photograph called when you get it developed? So those are your negatives. It's like, okay, I like that negative is in it. And I think it kind of contrasts well because I'm generally a very, very positive person. So I thought that might be a bit funny. And I'm not a very good photographer. So a lot of the photos end up coming out blurry. So I was like, oh, no, how about I go with Blurry Negative? And I thought that was very clever and all that.
Yeah.
Not super catchy, actually, but that's because negative is a massive word. It's like, it's too long to be typing. So that's where that came from. And when I started Twitch, I decided to just go with that name and kind of link the YouTube and Twitch together, even though they're so not related to each other at all. My Twitch content couldn't be any further from what I was doing on YouTube. So after a while of streaming as Blurry Negative, I was like, I don't like this. I don't like that people are calling me Blurry Negative. It doesn't feel good. I was like, I really want to just put my own name in there. And rather than using my own actual surname, I was like, okay, I'll keep the blurry part of it. Because I think at that point I'd already reached affiliate. So it's like, okay, I've got a few people who are interested in watching me. If I keep the blurry part, they won't be like, who is this person we're following now? They'll kind of, it'll still click with them that, oh, it's that guy, you know, when they click on it or see it in their side view. So I just went with Alex Blurry, and I like it. I don't feel like changing it up too much so far. I think it's okay right now.
No.
But yeah, well, I guess that's kind of like one of the reasons I would never get a tattoo, is that I change my mind so often. So even though I say I like it right now, I think in a week or two, I could be a different person altogether.
You're amongst friends here. It's okay. You're talking to one of the most indecisive people, like, probably in the UK. So, no, definitely.
Well, then I'm your Irish representative of indecisiveness.
All we need now is an English and a Welsh streamer. Indecisiveness.
Then we got a good joke going. That's what we got.
Yeah. We got a great knock knock joke going.
Yeah. An Irish streamer, a Welsh streamer, and a Scottish streamer walk into Twitch.
Yeah.
Satsu, I'm really hoping you'll finish this joke for me because I'm stuck at the moment.
So you were saying about fit. No, I'm kidding. I was like, oh god. Okay, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna put it to the side, and it'll be like years later. I'll be like, Alex, I've got it. It's like, what? I've got the punchline.
Who are you? What's the Twitch? Just me in a rocking chair at age 35.
Well, Twitch does age you, I have to admit. Like, especially when you get those moments when you think you're not, or when you think you're live and you're not actually, and you look down and you're like, have I just been like singing off key to the world? I'm like, oh, thank God, no. Thank God.
Oh my God. There's so many times where I've hit like go live, and I'll sort of sit back and I'll do things like this, and I apologize to everyone listening. I'll be like, like a bit doing my throat and stuff, like,
yeah,
and do big breaths into the mic, and I'm like, oh wait, is my mic on?
It's weird because I used to have this like USB mic, which it was a really good mic, but then I thought I kind of really have to upgrade it. And it's weird because it only has like a dial on it to like turn up the kind of input for it. Sure. And like usually I would just like turn it down and then that would be it muted. Whereas for the new mic I've got, like, I absolutely love it, but for this one it's like when you press the mute button it doesn't always respond for the first time.
What mic have you got?
It's a I'll actually have to look up the name.
I'll
look it up just as we're kind of talking, because it's like one of these like long GX point some. It's like I could.
Are you using a graphics card by any chance?
I could be. Oh no, sorry. It's a Trust Gaming GTX 256 X. I mean, that is like a mouthful in itself.
What
like,
a naming system.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I should have gone for, a Blue Yeti, an Elgato. No, I had to be fancy and pick it up during Black Friday. And be like,
nice.
Oh, look at me. I mean, it was a lot cheaper than like shelling out for, not overly like cheaper, but like compared to like Blue Yeti and things. And see, that's the thing, I don't know if you've ever noticed this. See, when you're like getting equipment for streaming and you don't know whether, I mean, I don't know if it's the same for like photography, but it's like you don't know whether the things that they're reviewing is actually bad, or it's bad because they're, like, for instance, like if someone's getting a microphone for like streaming or something, but then you get people who are like really into music and they're saying, oh, this microphone's terrible because it doesn't pick up, like, I don't know, like their background noise or something like that. You're like
absolutely.
Really kind of picky details, and you're like, what? I just want to stream. I just want to stream Fall Guys.
Here's like my little input on the whole microphone thing. So I do own a Blue Yeti. I got it years ago. For music. It was like quite affordable, and the Blue Yetis, they actually look quite nice. I think they're a cool looking microphone, like at that, I don't know, 1940s, 50s sort of vibe to it. But they aren't fantastic because they do pick up ambient noise. They'll pick up like the entire room. Which isn't great, because you don't want creaky doors and stuff. Now, it doesn't really matter, it's good sound quality and stuff. But then for the music stuff that I had been doing for years and years, I got the SM58, which is just your classic microphone. You'll see all the singers just using this microphone. You'll have it in their hand. You know the one. You look it up. You'll see what it is. Yeah. It's fantastic. The sound quality out of this microphone, in my opinion, I hope it sounds good for everyone else, is pretty good. But the problem is I have to be like right up close to it. So if I was a meter away from the microphone, you wouldn't hear me at all. I'd have to have my gain so high. So that's kind of the trade-off. Really good mic, gotta have your face like right up in that bad boy. Yeah. But with the other mics, you can just kind of chill and stuff. You're going to get the sound from the entire room, and with that is the pros and cons and stuff. That's my little mic input anyway.
I mean, it's better than mine. I just looked at it and looked at the reviews and thought, okay, this looks good.
That's fine though. That is good, yeah.
Because it is. It's like that kind of, it's going back to that indecisiveness. You're looking at it thinking, I'm going to make a big mistake buying this mic, aren't I? And I'm like, no. And then, it's like back and forth all night. And then by the time you realise you could have got it like the next day, but because you waited so long, you're like, I guess I'm going to have to wait another day to get it.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh.
The absolute worst thing that a person can do is hold off on streaming or doing something that they want because they're waiting to get that one good bit of equipment. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't do this because I don't have a good enough camera, or I can't do this because I don't have a good enough mic or a good enough computer or something. And I understand that because I feel that all of the time. But the truth is, just get in there, just do your thing. No one is going to even notice because you are like your harshest critic. You're the one that will pick up on like, oh, I didn't quite like the sound quality there. Oh, my video quality could be slightly better. Other people, they don't really care about that sort of
Oh
thing.
yeah.
I had that for a while. It was just in my head and it was like holding me back. I was like, I can't start streaming because my background looks awful, or that type of thing. Now, much more relaxed with that sort of thing. I can have the most disgusting background and I wouldn't really mind right now. But yeah, did you ever find that yourself? Did you ever have that sort of situation where you held off on something because you were waiting or you felt like your equipment wasn't good enough?
Oh, 110%. Like, see, in terms of streaming, I remember my very first streams where, weirdly enough, because I know we were talking about this earlier, so basically I'd got this version of Pokemon Green that was, like, really poorly translated, because it's like, Pokemon Green was, like, one of these ones that was only released in Japan. So
That's
someone
right.
had, like, got their hands on this and tried to translate it, but it was, like, a really awful translation, and in a way it was like for the kind of comedy factor as well, and being like, oh, this is a game I really want to do. So between that, like having the game and then thinking, oh right, now I want to stream, because one of my friends was like, oh, you should try it. And I had this so it was this computer that my friend was throwing out, and it was like, here, you can use it. It was good for like playing games on, but see, when it came to streaming, it was like a Russian roulette. I was using OBS and it kept crashing. Like, you would never know, if I'm honest. It's like, sometimes you'd be playing it and you'd be playing it for like a good full hour and you would get like a really good stint out of it. And then other times it would last for 20 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
technically I do have like the old streams like uploaded onto my YouTube channel. Kind of just to, I don't like go back nostalgically and be like, oh, I miss those times, because I genuinely don't. But it was
Yeah.
like, it was getting so bad that like, because I had this perception that, you've seen like, the kind of high profile streamers where they've got like cool transitions and they've got the cool overlay and things like that. And
Oh man, I'm so jealous of
yeah,
this.
it really got me down, because I was like, well, if I can't stream, on the computer, then what's the point? And I learned then that you could stream like directly through, like your consoles, like the PlayStation, the Xbox and things like that. And in a way I was kind of like, oh, but I can't have an overlay, it won't look fancy. And see, at the end of the day, like, see some of the streams that I did through my console, they're like some of the best streams I feel personally like I've ever done. The only reason I say that is because, like, when I was starting off, and I don't know if you've felt like this before, where it was like, it was only like my friends initially who were coming into the stream to support me, and honestly, like, I could honestly spend like a whole hour just gushing about them, how amazing they've been, like, support wise for
That's
streaming.
brilliant.
But
I've
you,
always wondered what it was like to have friends. Keep going.
yes, it's like, yeah. Then I took off the VR glasses and then I cried myself to sleep that night. But yeah, anyway, so it was usually the same people, and like I always got quite. It sounds like really selfish. I don't want it to come across as if I wasn't grateful, but like I felt as if I was kind of plateauing, like I wasn't growing, and I thought, oh, is it because it's my overlay? Is it because of this? And there was like a time where I was like that close to kind of chucking it just completely. There was one stream I did, and it was I think it was like Sonic Adventure of all things, and it was like this guy had came in, like, so it's another streamer called MTRZ Gaming. He had came in and he just randomly like kind of chilled out in the stream, and then like at the end of it he was like, oh, by the way, I left you a follow. And, I did the whole, oh, thank you, much appreciated and so on. And they went,
Yeah.
oh, no problem, I really enjoyed your stream. It was kind of that moment that, it's like you realise, you kind of think, hold on a minute, it doesn't really matter. Like, it's as you were saying, you don't have to have, like, the fanciest graphics or the best overlay. It's like what you're bringing to it.
Exactly.
That's the main thing. And I completely agree with you. I think, honestly, see, even to begin with, like, I genuinely wish that I'd like stream more on like the Xbox, because now I've got a PC and everything that can run everything, which is good. But back then, I definitely think it would have been like better if I just said, "Screw it, let's do more streams."
Yeah.
Through that, because yeah, you're right, it's that hesitation that actually brings me on to like one of the other questions I'm quite curious about. How did you actually get into streaming then? Like, what was your kind of like, how did you go from, I assume you still like do photography and things, but
That is the thing. So I was super into the YouTube thing. The goal, like chugging along there to get to the point of actually making money out of YouTube, and like it's going quite well, especially with such a niche type of content that I was doing. Like it's analog photography. The people who are into analog photography are usually, they're the older crowd, right? Whereas I was making these videos that had, well, my sense of humor in it, which it's not quite Zoomer humor, but it's not Boomer humor either. It's the millennial humor. It's there in the middle. I'm the Goldilocks for our age group, and I was making these videos, and it was going quite well. And then what happens? Boom. Lockdown happens. And here in Ireland, lockdown has been like super, super severe. We've had 3 major lockdowns and we're currently still in one of them. So at the moment, I cannot go 5 kilometers from my home unless it's for an essential reason, such as work or to do like grocery shopping. So all of my YouTube videos were all based around heading out to the mountains or into forests and stuff like that to do nature photography with the analog photography thing. So it really put a halt to that. I tried making 1 or 2 videos basically in my bedroom, just talking about a camera and looking at other videos and stuff, and like kind of doing commentary stuff on other photographers and stuff like that. It didn't work. I even privated some of those videos because I was just not proud of them. Like a few days afterwards, I looked back and I was like, this isn't good enough. It doesn't match up with what I was doing previously. I can't. I can't. I'm not happy with it. So I just like privated those videos. Didn't delete them. I think they're just privated. So it's like I need to do something. I need to do something that gets that kind of creative buzz or that need for like attention. Just that kind of little itch of attention seeking that all of the streamers have. And like we all do. I'm going to say we all have a little bit of that. Otherwise we would not be doing this type of thing, right?
Oh no, definitely.
So for years and years I've been not watching streamers, but I've been watching people do stuff on YouTube for years and years, like playing games and stuff like that. So I would even watch their VODs uploaded on YouTube, like the full things. And I was like, okay, well let me have a look at Twitch properly. And I watched a couple of streams on Twitch and I was like, I really want to do this. I want to sit down, turn the camera on, and just talk nonsense into a microphone for people who are as weird as me on the internet. And that is just kind of where it started. Like literally, I don't know how long ago that was now. Maybe I've been streaming for maybe 6 months, so maybe half a year ago. 5 or 6 months. And I just love it. I love it. If I could stream every day, I would.
Would you say that you would, like, if you got the opportunity, that you would do it as like a full-time thing, or?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I enjoy this more than I did the YouTube stuff. With YouTube, it's completely different. You go out, you plan a day to shoot, you write a script for what you're going to say, what you're going to talk about. You do a lot of research into what you're doing, and then you come home and you offload all of those files. You got to charge up the cameras again. You got to do this, do that, do that. Had to get the photos developed. Then you start into the edit. And for one of my videos, like I think I would edit it for a week and a half. I think every video took about a week and a half of editing. You would do like you sort of piece it together. I don't know, like a bit of a jigsaw at the start. You go, okay, I'm gonna put this here and this going here and this boop 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 boop, and then you go back and look at it and go, okay, so now I need to tighten this up. I need to change the audio here. I want to add some text in here. And it would be a slow thing, and you'd need to take a break from it. Then look at it again, and then with fresh eyes, you'd go, no, I didn't like that first bit. Delete that and get rid of this. And it's quite a hard thing to do because you do feel like every shot that you've taken is a personal little baby to you, and it feels weird to be deleting it. But you're like, I can't make a video that's 20 minutes long. It's going to be boring and incohesive. It needs to be shrunk down and compressed into something more bite-sized for the eyes, and it's a lot of work. But then on Twitch, you just go for it. Now there's still research and stuff that you can put in behind whatever you're doing, and you need to plan for your streams, but it feels it's a little more relaxed, even though it's live, and live is kind of dangerous at all times. It does still feel a little bit more relaxed. It's almost a behind the scenes type of feeling compared to producing a full video for a site like YouTube.
And it is. It's like a lot more natural, I suppose. Like, I know people, there are like streamers out there who kind of build like their own persona, but yeah, it's like being able to just turn on the mic and just like kind of being able to share, because I know exactly what you mean. I'm kind of getting flashbacks to like me during the start of lockdown, thinking, oh god, I did something very well, not like photography. Like, I'm not as bad as, you know, the kind of people that cut people's heads off in photos. But I'm not that level yet, but you know, give me a few years, I'll probably be that level. But remember at the start of lockdown, because it seems to be like a common theme for a lot of like people I've been talking to. A lot of people do kind of start off streaming like because of the lockdown. And I remember for myself, like, I don't know if I've ever told you, like, I'm like really into languages and things and kind of like learning that. Oui. I was terrible at French, I'm just going to put that in the record. Did it in school, was terrible, but still, God loves a trier. And so I was really into that, and I remember like 2020 was one of those, like, it began like really poorly for me, and it was kind of like, oh God, how could it get any worse? And then boom, pandemic, lockdown, you know, the world's ending, everything's on fire. So initially for the first few weeks I was kind of, I mean I still am working from home, but I was kind of like, what could I do with my time other than, you know, watching Netflix and things? And I've always wanted to do content creation, so initially I'd started with the like language channel and like doing like a couple of videos on that.
Very good.
It's weird because it's like what you were saying, it's like you make this video, you write the script, you edit everything together, you try to make it engaging and interesting, and I think I made about 2 or 3 videos, but yeah, just after that I was kind of sitting there thinking, I mean, they're okay. It's like, you know, that way where it's like you're finishing off a project, whether it be like for school, uni, whatever, and you're just like, yeah, I just want this finished now. And then when you upload it, you're kind of like, I mean, it's okay. So I was kind of like wondering what I could have done. And then it was one of my friends who was like, oh, why don't you try Twitch? Because he was trying it. He was just streaming like directly from his PlayStation. So I was like checking him out and thinking, I wonder if I should do this, like being really nervous and be like, I don't know if I could put myself out there, because like, I don't know about you, but like when I heard about Twitch, like, I was never really into Twitch before I got into it. I honestly thought it was just like, you know, when you went onto YouTube and you got all the compilation videos that kept popping up?
Sure,
and it was like, top 10, you know, Twitch people who have made an ass of themselves on camera and things like that, or you get like other people shaking their fists saying, oh, I can't believe people pay, you know, to watch someone sitting behind a chair and all of this.
Yes.
But it was like that perception before, like, you know, getting into Twitch, where I was like, oh, I don't know about this. But like once I got into it, like I fell down the rabbit hole. But yeah, honestly, the people I've met on Twitch have just been nothing but really supportive, just really lovely people.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that. Yeah.
Like, I mean, what did you think just before you were kind of getting into Twitch?
My initial thoughts were, I'm going to go live and people are just going to absolutely berate me. I'm going to get the most amount of slagging I'm ever going to get. People are going to pick out every fault that I have, and I was just scared. I was just so scared, and I was like, I can't press this go live button, man. I can't do it. But then I did it, and no, I have had like nothing overly negative. Certainly nothing negative directed towards me. Now, I've had problems with people being racist in chat. At the very start, and I had to do like some serious banning and stuff like that. But I think everyone gets that. I actually think it's surprising that I've not had more of that, because I don't know if Twitch certainly hasn't done anything to really combat that too much. So I know I'm just counting my lucky stars and keeping my fingers crossed that doesn't happen. But in terms of people just being genuinely positive, it's crazy, and like it does make sense, because people click on your stream, if they're not interested in what you're doing, they just leave, and that's fine. And so you do, it just in its own way filters out only the people who are going to be nice to you, which is it's a pretty good system, I guess. I suppose once you get like properly big, because you will see it in like the massive streamers chats where their chat box is like literally just just absolutely flying up. You will still catch really nasty messages, but that is just something that comes along with being big in any sort of field at all, or being in any sort of media. Like big people on Twitter, they're getting serious abuse. Big people on YouTube are getting serious abuse. Big just celebrities in mainstream media, they were the first people to be getting absolutely insane abuse. Yeah. So that was my first thought about going into streaming. I was like afraid that I was going to have an awful time and be like completely disheartened. But no, it kicked off very, very nicely, very well. So it's still going that way. People are just absolutely amazing. Like, yeah, you know it yourself. Your chat's amazing. We share a lot of the same people, I think, at this point, and yeah, they're all super nice.
Yeah, I'm just like sending them over, being like, "Please go check it out." Because
I get commission.
It's like, yeah. I was going to actually bring this up after the chat, but I'm still getting the 10% cut, aren't I? Yeah.
Wait, I pay you to be on this?
Wait, then who's paying me? Oh god.
What?
Oh no, right.
No.
Okay, guys, I'll be back in a second. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I know what you mean though. Like, I have to admit, I haven't had anything overly bad. I've had one or two kind of awkward moments, but I kind of either put it down to people who are probably not very well versed in kind of social situations, or are just like flat out children. I remember, when was it? It was like a couple of months ago, I was doing the Fall Guys stream, and this is when I was doing it like directly from a PlayStation, and this person came in the chat saying, "Oh my gosh, I love Fall Guys," you know, the usual stuff, and it was like, "Oh, great." And then they turned around and put like a YouTube video link into my chat, and I was like, and the person was like, "Oh, I made this video, can you review it, you know, live on your stream?" And I was like, first of all, I couldn't anyway because I was streaming from my PlayStation, but then I was kind of like, second of all, not really appropriate to be like just spamming your own videos in people's chats and then being like, but I kind of like just, and I mean, my mod said he was just like amazing with kind of, you know, kind of mitigating it and being like, "Oh, you know, don't post it here, but we've got a Discord," you know, like to say, I mean, my mods are absolutely fantastic, all of them. Yeah, just throwing a bit of healthy like mod love in there.
That's very nice. But I agree. I know what you're talking about. I've had a few cheeky Charlies myself who have they do the sly things. They're trying to get you to go look at their streams. They're trying to mention it as much as they possibly can into your chat, and it's like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that. You know, like, good for you, man, but you don't need to bring it up every time you type a message.
Like, here's a question though: have you ever had, probably if you've been playing like Fall Guys or like one of these kind of games, have you ever had someone who asks you if they can join your stream?
Yes.
Like, unsolicited, I mean. Like, if you're playing a game and they're just like, "Oh, can I play with you?" Like, right that instant.
Well, now, funny enough, I did that to you.
No, that is true, but there is a difference. I'm going to clarify, there is a difference. That was actually our first kind of, I want to say collaboration.
Yeah,
like before this, yeah.
A kind of collaboration.
Yeah, it was like the prelude before. But I mean, it's like, it's different because, funny enough, I think it was Blowfish Man TV and his group who were looking for another person in one of my like Fall Guys streams. I think it was just when I was about to end, and he was like, "Oh, by the way, we're playing, you know, do you want to join us?" And I was like, "Oh, fine, you've twisted my arm." But it's like, the difference there is, it's because I've kind of been talking to you and like him and his community and things for a good while.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I kind of know them on like a kind of basis, then that's fine. Like, I honestly don't mind if they're like, "Oh, can I play?" or something. It's like, yeah, sure, jump on. Because I'm very paranoid, like, especially when I'm doing something like Among Us, I am very paranoid about who I let on the stream and who I don't. Like, if I haven't interacted with them or don't have a kind of gauge for what kind of person they are, like outside of streaming, 9 times out of 10 I'm not going to invite them on live, because I've heard just so many horror stories where it's just like, you know, like people like yelling racial slurs, you know, just actively trolling. And it's especially the same for a game like Fall Guys, which really confuses me, because it's like, why you there's no like communication in it, like there's no, you know, voice chat. You would have to like do a party chat or something. So it's like, why would you want to be part of that for some like random person's stream, unless the aim is like to kind of like grab them and mess up, you know, their stream or try and sabotage them. But
I guess so.
Yeah, it's just, it's weird. But I mean, I'm very paranoid when it comes to that, like just making sure that whoever like I'm talking to or collaborating with, like I know, you know, like who they are.
I have wanted to play Among Us for the longest time. I have not played Among Us before, and that is the very reason I have not played Among Us. I guess I have this problem now where if I'm playing a game, I have to stream it. Do you have that sort of feeling that when you're a content creator, you're like, how do I make every aspect of my life content? Yeah, and like,
So,
I shouldn't do that.
So, you know our fellow friend and mod, Puke Bags, also
I
known as
do.
Said? Yeah, so basically he has been asking me for the longest time to play Dead by Daylight.
Oh, you
And
should.
yeah, I've installed it now. I'm like one step closer. But every
I'm a puke bag sleeper agent, and actually,
Oh
this
yeah.
whole podcast, the whole point was for me to get in here and
Yeah, this is
subtly bring up DBD.
Yeah, I was going to say, this isn't even a podcast. This is just a straight up intervention. Now, he's going to pop up in the call and just be like, yeah, listen. You got to play it. You got to play it right now. It's because I didn't know whether or not, like, it was, like, cross-play. Like, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to move away from, like, console playing and trying to move on to, like, just, like, straight on the PC.
Absolutely, preach, brother. Me too. I just need to
Honestly,
save for a
yeah.
good PC.
Like, because I've got the like Game Pass for the Xbox, and
Yes,
that's really good because it's also on the computer as well. Because Microsoft does, as it were. So
Microsoft do be computers.
it do be like that. And yeah, so it's like there's a lot of games that you can get free with the Game Pass.
Yes,
So that's one I've like installed. And I kept saying that to him. I was like, oh, I really want to play it, but I'm not sure if it would be a good game to stream. And honestly, like every time I go to play a game now, I'm just like, I could be streaming this. This could be really good content. And
absolutely.
do you ever feel, yeah, like, do you feel that where it's like you're playing it and it's hard to kind of detach your like streaming self?
For quite a while now, I've been looking at my Switch and I'm like, I kind of just want to curl up in bed and play The Witcher. I have The Witcher 3 on the Switch, The Switcher 3.
Yeah.
And the only reason I've not picked it up and hopped into bed to play it is because I'm like, well, what if I think of something funny to say during it? What if this would be a good thing to stream? And I'm like, you know what, I'll just wait and then I'll just stream it someday. So, the truth is I'll probably never play it, unfortunately. Because yeah, I do look at it that way. I look at every single game that I might want to play with streamer eyes now. I'm like, oh, I could maybe get some money back off this.
Yeah. Because I'm the same. Like, don't know if you saw the episode we did a Satsunami where we were talking about the game Deadly Premonition, which, like, I mean, my friend Adam and we spent like a good like 2 hours talking about how much we loved this game and everything. And like after that, it kind of like just, I want to say inspired, but probably subliminally messaged into my brain to be like, you should buy the sequel before it gets, spoiled. So like I bought it, and for the longest time I was like, maybe I should stream it, and I was like, no, I'm gonna play it. And like I started it, but then there was a time where I just stopped. And I was just like, it's not a bad game by any means, but it's just like, again, I kind of keep thinking about, would this be good to stream? Or, like as you said, like looking at it through this kind of, like streamer lens, I want to say, TM.
Yeah.
Buy yours for Christmas now, It's like, yeah, it's trying to detach yourself, and it is a hard thing, but especially in Dead by Daylight, that's what Pukebags was saying. He said, oh, you do know you don't have to stream like every game you play, and I'm like, but you don't understand. The fans are expecting it.
My public, they call.
I've actually got a question for you, though. I know, shocker. Sorry. What is your opinion of streaming like a long game versus a short game?
As
Like
in,
on stream, like, so for example, I think it was a couple of months ago I decided to stream Red Dead Redemption 2, and at the beginning of that it was a good idea, but I was like trying to blaze through the story, and it's a great game, don't get me wrong, but see a game to stream and try and get from the beginning to the end, oh, it's a slog. There was just some bits where I was constantly kind of like, oh god, I hope everyone's having a good time as I'm like standing with a virtual bowl of like stew over the fireplace, and I'm like, and I couldn't even like skip that bit. It was like all these like NPCs were kind of partying, and it was just like, I just want to continue the story, please let me continue the story. oh, why aren't you, continuing?
Yeah.
And that kind of wore down on me. Like, I thought I finished the game, and then there was like an epilogue, and I was like, oh my God, this is a cowboy film.
Let me just tell the epilogue is fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
Oh, that game, I cried at the end of that game. I'm not even gonna lie. I thought that was amazing.
Oh, it's such a good game, but I feel as if I've kind of spoiled it by like streaming it. Because on the one hand, I think like I'm glad I did stream it. I don't think I finished it yet, actually. I think I got to the beginning of the epilogue, and then I think I got to part 2 of the epilogue, and then I kind of just stopped. I mean, it is a good game, but it was that kind of like constant worry of, are people still kind of entertained by this?
I
You know?
totally get that. Yeah. So when you're talking about streaming a long storied game like that, or just streaming something short, that is something I have like a severe problem with. Now, in my mind, I would like to start and finish a game and have it run over multiple streams and have everyone sort of a collective of people been interested in the story, and we all kind of get this sort of, I don't know, this group feeling together doing it. But I just can't. I seem to get very bored easy. And instead of eating like the entire family-sized bar of chocolate, I just want the box of celebrations, and I just want to have, I want a little bit of a Mars bar, and I want a little bit of a Maltesers, and I want a little bit of Pokemon today, and I want a little bit of Red Dead maybe that day, and I just want to try loads of little games and little bits of games, and not have to have the feeling of commitment that I have to go in through and finish it, because I don't know why it is, but I guess it's recently I get just bored with it. I think maybe as kids when we got a game, that was it. We weren't getting a new game for ages, right?
Yeah.
So you just played that game. You played it from the start to the finish, and then you played it again. And then you played it again. And you probably played it again. And then you get a new game, and you would do the same thing over and over again. Whereas now, it's like you load up a game, and then, oh, there's a pop-up. There's a Steam sale. And you're like, oh, okay, I'll get this, and I'll get one of these. And now we're kind of spoiled for choice, and you have a little bit of disposable cash, maybe, especially when games are just like £3 one day or something like that. You know, it just, maybe it's just the amount of gaming content that we have out there sort of stops us, or stops me at least, from being able to see something through from start to finish.
And I mean, it's that idea as well, though, that, like, see when you're kind of skipping through, like, Twitch and you see, like, a streamer doing, like, a certain game and you're like, well, that looks like a lot of fun. Maybe I should try that. And then you go to try it and then you're like, then you see another streamer, like, do something else. You're like, oh, that looks good. And you're kind of just jumping from, like, idea to idea, and you're like, yeah, I should really... It's like, on the one hand, logically, it's like, yeah, stick to the one kind of consistent game, but then on the other hand, it's like... it's like... Yeah, no. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, in your opinion, what... Because I know you're... no bias here, but I know you're a fellow variety streamer, so you do, like, a bit of kind of everything with different, like, games. What is your opinion? Like, do you think it's better to kind of vary it up? Or do you think, like, it is good for some streamers to, like, stick to the one game?
It's whatever you enjoy. I could not imagine playing just one game. The people who do that, they're amazing at what they do. They're like super focused on it. Let's say, just for example, it was like, I don't know, Rocket League or something. They're like super into Rocket League, and they're very good at it, and that is their game. That's their jam. I couldn't. That feels like a nightmare to me, to play the exact same thing every day. And what happens when suddenly no one is playing that game anymore? It's got to be very hard for those streamers to transition to another game, because they're going to start off not very good at that game, and their audience, will they follow them over to a brand new game? It's hard to know, because a lot of those streamers, they have viewers that are watching them because they're very good at the game. Whereas for me, certainly, and maybe I can include you in this, I don't know, we're not typically good at games. we're maybe the humor comes from us being slightly bad at games.
So yeah, that's it was great having you on, Alex. We're gonna finish it there. Thank you so much.
Oh no.
No, I totally see what you mean. Sorry, sorry. Go on.
I think that was my point. I think that was it. Is that what was the question again?
No, sorry. I do know what you mean, like, about, like, not being, like, a pro player. Definitely, because I do look at some games, and it's weird. It's like, and again, I make, like, so many terrible references, but you know that scene that, like, out of Star Wars where it's like, there's always a bigger fish?
Yes.
And it's like you'll play a game, think, oh, I'm really good at this game, and then you'll look up like this 5-year-old who's like been playing it since birth. It's
Absolutely.
like he's already got like 100 Warzone like victories under his belt. What the actual hell? It's
Yeah,
like,
you
oh
just
my
think,
god.
what's the point?
Yeah, what? Because that is the thing. I think like I have seen a lot of people, whether it be usually it kind of is FPS focused. I have to admit that's one thing I've noticed.
Yes, very much so.
It's usually the FPS streamers that kind of play Warzone a lot, and there is nothing wrong with that. Like, if that's the game you're into or the game you enjoy playing, that is perfectly fine to like stream it as much as you want. But it feels as if, and this seems to be like the top streamer tip, that, oh, if you want to be a good streamer, like choose a game that, and it is weird because this is something I've seen through a lot of variety streamers that have kind of said to me that it is better to choose a game that's not as, that's kind of less saturated on Twitch.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you go on and you look, it's like the top like games are like Valorant, Warzone, Overwatch, And it's funny because I do play Overwatch with my mod Pukebags, like off stream. I don't think I could ever play it on stream because it gets very competitive.
Right. Okay.
Like, in the sense that he literally plays competitive. I played it he actually informed me, he said you played it for 8 minutes. It's like, and you never went back to it because the stats came up, and I was like, yeah, because I mean, man yelled at me.
Oh.
and said, what are you doing? It's like, I'm doing my best.
Oh.
So it was not a good time. So I went back to casual, like the filthy casual I am.
Oh my God.
But like games like that is like, and I do like I'm just gonna like quickly point out that I do enjoy playing with them. Like I'm not actually saying like that's a bad thing to be part of the competitive scene.
Yes.
But it's like I know for a fact, like whether it's that or whether it's Call of Duty, like I feel as if I'm a decent COD player. Like I'm by far not one of the the 360 quick scope blaze it kind of guys. I'm not that at all. Like sometimes I get lucky and I do get a no scope, and throughout the rest of the match I'm just like, yeah. And I get angry because like I didn't have like my capture card on or anything, so I'm like, oh yeah, so I'm just like, shit, damn it, I was so close. But yeah, like I'm happy with kind of being that medium, if you know what I mean. And sometimes I am terrible at games, or sometimes stage fright just gets me, or stream fright gets me, where it's like, I remember when I was playing Sonic Adventure, and there's this like shortcut I always do at the beginning of one of the levels, where it's just like, you're supposed to spin dash, and then it's like you jump up to the platform. And I think that's the shortcut I've taken, like, since I started playing the game. It's like something I could do in my sleep. First time I did it on stream, I instantly died. And I was like, the only time that's ever happened, and I'm like, I can't believe it.
Of course. Yeah.
But I do agree with you, though. It's like you have to kind of like bring something different to what you're streaming. It's like, I'm curious to hear what you think about this, but one of the things that kind of, I don't want to say irks me, but that I'm cautious at, is see when you see all these like duplicate Twitch tips videos. Like some of them are really good, like for the bare basics, it's like, it's really good to be like, okay, this is what you do, you interact with the chat, you do this and that, that kind of thing, which is great. But then you get some that are just pressuring people to be like people they're not on stream.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've seen people who are like just 110% like all the time. They're just like, yeah, let's go, Gifu, woo, like just completely switched up to 10 throughout the whole thing. And I don't think like that's something that would, like, for example, that wouldn't suit like my kind of style of streaming, because I'm very, like, you might have noticed, I'm very like laid back and quite, I mean, I do have moments where it's like I lose it or something, but I don't think I could like maintain that like throughout the entire stream. Like there's some moments where it is like genuinely difficult, and you just kind of, like you kind of have to like bring yourself back and be like, okay, I'm fine, But it is that kind of worry that people are kind of being told, oh, you have to act this way.
Yeah, it's a bit like stage school. It's like, everybody gotta smile, you gotta wait, you gotta look at the camera, okay? It's kind of like that. And yeah, not everyone is like that. Some days I will feel like that. I'll be full of energy. Other days I'm like a bad teacher walking into class, but like, kids, I'm hungover today, so if you could just be quiet and have a nap, that'd be good. And I think that is okay on stream, to just tell people that. It's going to be a chilled out one today.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, coming into going onto your stream with a Starbucks cup like half an hour late. It's like, listen, chat, just don't talk to me today.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling it. Okay, just let's get through this game. Oh.
Today I'm just going to open up a window and put on Satsu, and we're just going to watch him. Don't tell him that I'm just streaming his content.
Yeah, and I'm just doing exactly the same thing. Like, oh god.
Just two people hungover.
Oh no. What have you done, Blurry? What have you done?
This is why they call me Blurry. My vision.
It's gone. So that kind of brings me on to something, again, I'm quite curious to hear your opinion on, but what would you say is like the most important part of being a streamer on Twitch?
Oh God, what a question. Well, it comes down to just enjoying yourself, I think. I think that is really the most important thing in many different ways. If you're enjoying what you're doing, then people are going to like you, because people like to watch somebody who is, you can physically see that they're enjoying the game they're playing, or they're enjoying whatever type of stream it is that they're doing. Because for the majority of things, people might find you because they're searching for someone playing Pokemon, or they're searching for someone drawing something artistic, whatever. But they tend to stick around because of you. And at a certain point, it doesn't matter what you're doing. They're there just to see you, which is the really fantastic thing about it. So if you're just enjoying what you're doing, not stressing too much about it, taking a chill and just been happy with the way it's going, that tends to, it's good for you and it's good for your stream at the same time.
It's kind of going back to what I was kind of saying earlier, at this, like, you know, this perception that Twitch streamers are, I don't want to say looked down on, but it's, you know, that way where it's like, compared to like YouTubers or things where it's like, you know, YouTubers like put so much time editing, writing, that kind of thing. And then people kind of just assume, like I've seen this a lot, and weirdly enough I did see it on, I think it was Reddit or something earlier, where someone was moaning because they were like, oh, I've got a degree and, you know, I work a 9-to-5 job and I can't believe that so-and-so's being paid all that money just to sit in front of a camera and play video games.
Yeah.
But I don't think people actually, like, until, you know, you get into the scene and everything, or see kind of behind the scenes, I don't think people realise how much work goes into a lot of streams.
Oh yeah, you need to be like quite tech savvy when it comes to streaming. The streaming software itself, like, that took me a good while to get my head around. And even, it was just yesterday that I figured out stuff that I didn't even know about my streaming software. It was like, oh, that does that. I did not know this entire time. You know what I just learned today? For the first time, push to talk and push to... I didn't know you could push down a key, and when you let go of the key, it reverts back to whatever way it was before. I thought you would just have to tap it and then tap it again. I did not know that was a thing. I feel old.
Push to talk. Right, okay. Anything else? You know, no, I just want to see what you know, you know.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I see.
Yeah. It's actually amazing when you are like fooling about with the like settings, and then you look and you're like, you can do that? It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it's like reaching enlightenment, streaming enlightenment. I mean, it is. Like, going back to what you were saying though, it is about enjoying yourself, which I think, like, there is definitely two types of people who view streaming. There's the ones who want to just get rich quick with the minimal effort, and there are the ones who think, you know, like, it's kind of, it's just a case of, like, you know, turning on a camera and being like, because, I mean, my God, there have been some streams where I have gone in and I've tried to be very supportive to them, but they'll just kind of do a, hey, and then they'll keep playing whatever they're playing and just like not interact at all, or and it's not even like they're doing like a challenge run or anything. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, how dare you, like, you're 3 hours into your speed run and you're not talking to me. I was like, no, like, just like someone kind of like, even in like the main menu or something, and you're like, come on.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I have to admit, like, I didn't know what to expect when I started streaming. I didn't by any means think like I was instantly going to turn on the camera, or not camera, haha, funny, because I don't use one. You know, like, turn on, you know, Streamlabs and be instantly popular or something.
Yeah.
But I think that is like a dangerous kind of reputation that's been set up for some Twitch streamers. Like, they see other Twitch streamers and they think, oh, it's as easy as that. And then that leads to, like, people getting, like, kind of feeling demoralised that they might not be reaching the kind of same level as like other
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, like on that subject,
Yeah.
I won't mention names,
Oh
or I
yeah.
won't even mention the Discord that it was in, but
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
was a member of a Discord that I was a member of,
Mhm.
and he was the guy. This guy would pop in, and he's a streamer.
Mhm.
He would never join in on the actual chat of the Discord. He would only ever pop into the Discord to talk about his own stream and to like say, going live now, everybody, come check me out, blah 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 blah. And he had the worst negative mindset.
Mhm.
Like he would come in and he'd be like, no one's watching my stream, and people would be like, oh, sorry, I couldn't watch your stream. I'll do my best to see it next time. We're just kind of busy at the moment, whatever. And like, he couldn't quite grasp that like that's an okay thing. Like he felt like everybody had to go and watch him, and he was angry that not everybody was, and it just became this really weird toxic thing. And then when I actually got the chance to, like, I didn't properly know him, I wasn't even following him or anything. He was just another member of this Discord, but I clicked on to watch one of his streams, and he was even angry in his stream. So for me, as a new viewer just clicking onto it, he was instantly moaning and giving out that the view counter only said 2 people or something like that. And I was like, no, dude, please turn it around, turn that frown upside down, and try just a bit of positivity. Is going to go a long, long way here.
Yeah. For what you're saying, like, people who are just like moaning about the view count or things, there's just so many who kind of think that as soon as that, stream's turned on, because I mean, there's like what, 100,000, like over 100,000 people like on Twitch at any one time. There's so much content going out onto Twitch, and it's like, I mean, I have to admit, like, most of the people that I've like kind of got to know and made friends with was because like I started talking to people who then started raiding other people. And I think that's like an amazing part of it. Like being able to both interact with other streamers and, being able to interact and get to know them. And then you kind of get to know their community. And then I don't want to sound like a kind of Saturday morning cartoon where I'm like, oh, we're just like this big bubble of friendship kind of thing. It's like, oh, we're all holding hands in each other's community. But it's like, that is one of the really, because I have to admit, I wasn't angry about it, like at the very beginning when I started streaming, but I was very like down about it.
Sure.
Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I was making mistakes, and I can see that like looking back. But at the beginning, I was just kind of looking back thinking, oh, why am I not getting popular? Why is nobody, checking out my stream, even though I was like posting on Twitter, I was trying to like integrate myself. And see, when you start off, it's really difficult to kind of get a foot in the door, if you know what I mean. Like, it is, and I don't think people kind of recognise that, which I think, see, if you're like really impatient and you kind of think, oh, I'm just gonna, I'm just like that guy you were talking about, like, oh, how dare you, how dare you not watch my stream and be shouted at by me, kind of thing. Like, it's that kind of sense of, I mean, I don't want to assume about the person, but that kind of sense of like self-entitlement almost.
Yeah, that was certainly it. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Because it's like one of the things that it took me ages, right enough, to, because I know a lot of people who, they're like looking for tips about how to reach affiliate and things, and I genuinely thought, like, see, getting the first 50 followers, that was some of the hardest, that was honestly a hard couple of months trying to like build up. I don't want to say reputation, because I've got a silly reputation, but like to like to get your name out there and to be able to talk to people, if you know what I mean, because I mean, not everyone that you're going to talk to is going to be like a winner. That sounded terrible. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's not going to be like, you're not going to go into every stream and they're going to be like, oh, hey there, and you're going to make like an instant friend. Sometimes you do, and that's just like an amazing feeling when you start like vibing with the streamer and everything. But yeah, when you get the ones that you kind of just have to cut your losses when they're just not interacting in that way. And I think that is an important thing, like having to, or not having to, but being able to like interact with others and kind of share your experiences.
Yeah.
Because my god, it is like kind of useful, or not useful, sorry, that's the wrong word. It's really helpful to have like streamers or other streamers who are like kind of doing a similar thing they can kind of go to for advice and things like that.
Yeah. Like you have that kind of, some people have that feeling of almost like a jealousy of other people. They look at another streamer and are like, how come this person has that many viewers and I don't have that many viewers? And you're like, oh, I hate this, whatever. But like, there's no sense, there's no point in feeling that. It's a weird thing to feel because there's like almost an infinite resource of viewers out there. And if somebody has 10 viewers, that's not them taking 10 viewers from you. That's just them having 10 viewers. It's no reason to be salty about that type of thing, if you get what I mean there.
No, absolutely. Because, I mean, that's what I always remember. Like, I was talking to one of my friends who, it was the same friend who got me into streaming. It was like, oh, you should try it. And it was like, on the one hand, you can look at it in two ways. You can look at it as, oh, these people are doing something underhanded. You know, like, oh, they're only subscribing because, I don't know, something silly, like, oh, because they're a girl, or because, you know, they're streaming the latest game, or because they're doing a giveaway, you know, like, trying to, like, break it down like that of a really petty reason of, oh, this is why they're popular. But on the other hand, you can look at it as, right, those 10 people, or, you know, those people watching that channel might not, you know, be into your channel, or they just, you know, because you can't, like, be in everyone's stream at once. That's, like, you know, rule one, unless, you know, like, there are some people I have to admit I've seen who are, like, you go into one stream and then you go into another and they're, like, in both streams. It's like, how the hell are you still here?
Yeah,
like,
how are you listening to these two streams? Yeah, I've definitely seen that.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like, on the other hand, though, I have to admit, I think it's one of the things that's quite hard for a lot of new streamers, realising that not everyone's going to vibe with your stream. And that's not a bad thing. Like, it's not that they're saying you're terrible. It's not saying they don't like your aesthetic or anything. It's nothing like that. Maybe it's just that's not what they're looking for. And it's what you were saying earlier, where it's like, okay, maybe you'll get, like, an arse hat or two, you know, that are coming through and saying, like, horrible things, but see, at the same time, though, at least that means that you're kind of filtering out the people that aren't gonna truly support you, if you know what I mean. Like, the ones you actually want to build a community off of. Because honestly, like, I'm sure you feel the same about your community, but I'm like a doting dad over mine. It's like, sometimes I'll go into the Discord and see, like, really wholesome, like, interactions, and I'm just like, my god, I'm so proud of you.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
It is being able to, like, find, like, as you said before, where you were kind of joking about saying, oh, like, a weird sense of humour, but it's like finding, like, a like-minded group, I suppose, to, like, bounce off of.
Yeah, it's this aim that I have to become my own echo chamber when everybody says everything that I want to hear back.
Exactly.
We have our own views and we stick to them.
Yeah. Anyone who disagrees, ban.
That.
Ban fun. But I mean, that's the thing as well, though. It's like, I mean, as I was saying, there's like hundreds of thousands of people, even now probably, as we're speaking, like, streaming on Twitch. Just whether it's like, you know, whether it's I don't know, an FPS or whatever it's going to be, or it's just another podcast. Still not as good as Satsunami, which you can listen to on Anchor, Spotify, and I'm joking.
I'm not. Lay out those plugs, please.
Yeah. It's like, honestly, I should have gone into plumbing with the amount of plug sales I'm getting. This is the kind of humour that loses me viewers. That's all I'm saying. But you know what? If this is a hill I'm going to die on, this is a hill I'm going to fall on, okay?
Oh, man. Okay.
But yeah, terrible jokes aside, or dad jokes aside. See, that's what I've said. I've said I'm like a dad over my community, and now I'm like, I'm like, all the dad jokes are like seeping out. But yeah, just because like a group of people aren't checking out your content doesn't mean, you know, that other people aren't going to check out your content. I mean, it's like, there's new people coming in all the time. Like, for example, you said you started like 6 months ago. And yeah, like, for one, I'm really glad that we bumped into each other on Twitch. And I'm not just like buttering you up because you're on the podcast. But no, because like, I mean, not only yourself, but your community as well have always been so like supportive and wholesome and things like that. And it just means that there's just so many people out there that are gonna, you know, come by, and maybe they'll enjoy the content and maybe they'll stay. What do you think? Like, do you think a lot of new streamers have this kind of narrow-minded like bubble that, you know, they think, oh, because they're not getting these viewers and like another streamer's getting viewers? I mean, do you think like some streamers think like that?
I think so. I think the same thing happens with like music in real life. Mm-hmm. That if you're in a band or you're a singer or something like that, if somebody else is booking gigs that you know that's maybe of a similar age and stuff, you have people who are like, a little bit salty about that. And you're like, oh, I'm just as good as him. I can play guitar better than him. Oh. But like the truth is, they're not taking anything from you. Those people that are listening to that person are just as likely to listen to you as well. So it's just I don't know if I'm getting the point across too well, but it feels like some people think that they're competing against other streamers or other people in their field or whatever. And you're really not. You're all there for like to do your own thing, and just because one person succeeds doesn't mean they're taking that from you. You still have the same opportunity to be able to succeed.
Yeah, it is. It's like that, like trying to break out of that mindset of, you know, like they're not doing, like as you were saying earlier, they're not doing like a Goldilocks where it's like they're just stealing everything from you. It's like there's plenty of like viewers to go around, and there's plenty of support that's going to be there, and it's just kind of finding your group and your, like, you know, your community that are going to come in and support you. I think as well, I mean, do you think as well it's like a thing of impatience for some streamers?
Yeah, I think some people don't give it enough time, and I think it's the fact that it can be very disheartening when you're I guess the biggest problem that people will have starting out is talking to what essentially feels like nobody. And that's a tough thing to do. It's hard to talk to an audience of no one. People will find because they will be feeling a little bit downtrodden, a little bit depressed over the fact that, well, what do I say? Because if I'm talking, no one's listening, no one's going to say anything back. But that's certainly not true, because you'll be surprised about how many people click on the VODs and watch the VODs back at the same time. So you should always feel like you're performing.
Yeah.
And that's really what live streaming is. It's a performance. So like one of the things I used to do years ago was I would go busking, like maybe twice a week. I'd go out busking. Busking is a common enough term. Everyone knows what busking is, right? Yeah. And sometimes, you know, when you start off, you're literally just on the street, just like back it down, playing the guitar on your own or whatever, and no one's listening to you. But you're still playing because someone's going to walk by and they're going to hear you, and then they're going to stop and have a listen. And that's what streaming is like too. It's this performance where when you start off, don't expect anyone to be there. Just do the thing you're there to do. Start your performance, and the passers-by will, you know, they'll come by, and if they like what you're doing, they're going to stop and they're going to have a little listen.
I mean, it's like that. What's the film called? Is it Field of Dreams, where it's like, build it and they will come?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's like, yeah, it's like, you know, the whole like Rome wasn't built in a day thing. That's probably more well known than Field of Dreams.
Well, you know what? Actually, I much preferred Field of Dreams.
What, than Rome?
Yeah, because Rome was just Rome, but Field of Dreams had ghost baseball players.
That is true. I mean, you know, Caesar, you can't compete with that.
You cannot.
You cannot. Yeah, no, I know what you mean though. It's like, it's trying to build that basis. And I have to admit, that was one of the things I was really fortunate for, that I had all my friends kind of support me through the early days. So, you know how you get it's like the requirements to become a Twitch affiliate?
Yes.
And it's like, you know, it's like you have to have
50 followers and an average of 3 viewers. Over the course of a month.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, yeah. Because I think I managed to get the average, like, kind of just, but at the same time, it was like, oh, that's good that I'm managing to kind of hold on to that. Whereas the follower thing for me was just really difficult. Like, as I said before, so getting the first 50 followers, it is a slog. And it's like, it kind of leans into the whole people wanting instant gratification, and then, you know, you get the whole, like, follow for follow thing, and it's, you know, it's like it's trying to promote yourself and build that basis without, I don't want to say without selling your soul, but you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean. I do, yeah.
Yeah, just without trying to do like underhanded tactics, you know, because this is the kind of worry for me. It was, as you were saying earlier, about, you know, bigger streamers with their chats, you know, going up like a bandsaw. And, you know, if you touch it, you lose a finger.
Yeah.
Like, they're going so fast. And it's like, that is, like, one of the main worries, if, God forbid, I ever became big on Twitch. Because you're losing that kind of sense of community.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. It's like, you're losing, I don't want to say intimacy, but you know what I mean? Like, that kind of, like, intimate community feel.
I do know what you mean, and I think a lot of people know what you mean. Because I'm not sure now if PewDiePie himself has even said this, but a lot of like big YouTubers have said this, that their most enjoyable time on YouTube or even people like on Twitch and stuff was when they had a small enough amount of viewers that they were able to have it as a career and still be able to feel like they had this community before they like truly blew up, and then the community is like not really there because it's just too many people. Yeah, and like that's super interesting because you would look at these people at the top and you're like, oh, the PewDiePie, he's like super successful, he must be like super happy with the way things are going. But no, he's like probably much happier when he was just in that ground of just growing and been able to have a proper laugh with people who had a similar sense of humor to him rather than essentially the whole world's eyes.
I mean, that is kind of the point, I suppose, of streaming and content creation, that you're trying to entertain people, but at the same time, you're kind of putting yourself out there as a brand, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know, it's like because I was thinking that when you brought up PewDiePie, it's like nowadays when you think of PewDiePie, you don't really think of him. I mean, you do obviously think of him as a person, but when you hear the name PewDiePie, you think of it more as like a branding. You know, oh, look, it's PewDiePie, it's the, you know, top like YouTuber or whatever, but it's like that's the kind of frame of reference that everyone's kind of seeing him in, which for obvious reasons, because he's like gotten so popular. But you can't imagine him doing like, you know, like not him in particular, but you know, like even the bigger streamers, like you can't imagine them doing, you know, like a kind of smaller stream, where they're just kind of talking to people, and not in a bad way. I'm not saying like, oh, they're too good for for us common plebs, but
it's just that they physically can't.
Yeah, because I mean, I've seen like, I think that was years ago, there was like meetup videos and things of these big YouTubers and streamers and things, and I mean, my God, it's like the riot shields get broken out at 11:30.
It's like that crazy stuff Logan Paul does be pulling, you know.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
and it's like, why would you? It's just crazy. But yeah, that's like a kind of physical, I suppose, representation of that.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, there's just no. This is going to sound probably like, I don't want to sound gatekeepy or come across that way, but do you ever feel that when it's like there's some streams you can watch and it's like a big YouTuber or whatever, or a big streamer, and because the chat's kind of going so fast, it's almost like you're watching a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Like just with a live chat at the side. And like it doesn't feel as if you're getting any interaction. And I suppose that is kind of the trade-off. It's like, you know, like the monkey paw. Oh, I want to be successful on Twitch, but you're going to have to sacrifice that kind of relationship with your community in a way.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know. Do you worry about that? Like, about if you, or not if, but when, let's face it, when you get big on Twitch.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? If I was ever blessed enough for that to be something that I have to deal with, I'd just have to deal with it then. It's a dream that's too far away for me to even know how I would feel when it comes to facing it. I know that right now I would like to say that I want. I don't know. I really just don't have an answer for that.
No, that's perfectly fine. I'm honestly in the same boat. Like, the stages of me, like, becoming huge on Twitch, it's like, it's just a dream, you know, like, far off in the distance. And I have to admit, like, I'm okay with that in a way. Like, I don't want to be like, you know, it's like at the Oscars where it's like, oh, I'm fine becoming a runner-up, and then they're, like, crying behind the stage. Just like, oh, God.
Yeah, they put the tiara on the other winner, and you're just there, you're smiling, but your eyes are just like, oh, bitch.
Give me Miss Congeniality, will you? Fuck's sake. But I mean, it's like, I have to admit, I've seen like a couple of streamers who kind of started out the same time as me, and they've completely like surpassed me because because of the way they are doing things in their own way. And honestly, it's amazing to see them just, you know, like get bigger, get like a bigger audience and everything.
Yeah.
And you know, like, it's good as well for Twitch because, and I don't mean that as in like a money, you know, well done Bezos kind of way. I mean just more in the sense of like, it is really good that streaming is becoming a lot more mainstream. That people are getting included into the, you know, like into the conversation of, I don't want to be like, you know, streaming's becoming an acceptable profession or something, but, you know, it's like, it's attracting new fans. And at the end of the day, like, if they start watching, because I mean, I have to admit, I've had like a couple of like people from mutual streamers communities come into my like chat sometimes, and then I'm like, oh, you're so and so from, I mean, even from your community, Cabbage has come into my streams a couple of times.
Yeah, Cabbage is fantastic.
Yeah, and it's like, it is really nice just seeing that kind of like people working together. Like,
conversely, I'll go into a stream and I'll see someone like Cabbage viewing them in the chat, and I'll be like, you're cheating on me.
Yeah.
How dare you watch this person?
Yeah, I'm the same for he's a great person, but one of my mods, S-Banks, he is like everywhere and nowhere at once.
S-Banks is amazing.
Yeah.
I love S-Banks so much.
He is so supportive, because I can't remember what stream it was, but I think it might have been one of Blowfish Man's streams, or it was one of these streams where I was sitting there. Oh no, it wasn't. It was another streamer called MZ. So she does like a lot of Warzone streams and things. Really lovely person. And I was in her stream, just watching, and then 2 seconds later, S-Banks like pops up and he's like, "Oh, hey, Satsu," and I'm like, "What the hell are you doing here?" It's like, go on, get out of here.
Yeah.
Get like shooing him out with a broom. It's like, what are you doing here? We're just in the most unlikely of places. But it is kind of nice. It is weird to kind of think of it like that, but it's, like when you're at the shops and, it's like you bump into, someone you know. It's like, oh, it's you. Hi, how you doing? Yeah. It's like, it's nice. It makes you feel like it's more of a community.
It does. It really does.
It is. It's like communities kind of overlapping with one another, and I think that's great.
It really is, yeah.
It's wholesome.
In a way, it kind of starts to feel like you're maybe part of a team. Like, I mean, from the streamer's point of view, that, I'll do my stream, and then maybe at the end of the stream, you want to look at who you're going to raid or something like that. Yeah. So my first thing that I would immediately do is, now I'm very bad at remembering to raid, but I will look at who is live that I actually know and like. So if anyone who I know, like yourself, is on or whatever, then I'm like, okay, yeah, that's like a member of the team in my brain. That person is getting the raid. I'm supporting this person. Like,
because I do that as well. I'm kind of like, right, who's on? The annoying thing is, like, it sounds like such a first world problem saying the annoying thing, but it's like when you see someone you're going to raid, it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to raid the shit out of their stream, and then 2 seconds later, it's like they go offline, and you're like, no.
Oh, I know, no. I know, yeah.
I was going to be wholesome. How dare you?
Yeah. But the second you raid, they're like, you just see them in the background walking to the bathroom, and you're like, what?
It's like, get back here.
Yeah.
Get back here. I think I did that to someone's stream where I was like, oh yeah, thank you for the raid, but actually, out of curiosity, has there ever been a time where a raid has gone like wrong for you?
No, but I do know of somebody who has raided and the person that they raided didn't take it like as a nice thing. They in fact started giving them tips on how they should stream better or raid better, and I was like, wow, that's super arrogant. I can't believe you did something so nice for somebody and they like just immediately dissed you for doing that. It was crazy. I didn't even believe it. Like, I was like, why would someone do this?
That's horrible, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, the only, there's 2 instances for me, I have to admit. The first time I was ever raided was when I was playing the PlayStation. It was like I was playing Detroit Become Human, and it was the finale, and someone raided me, but at the time I didn't have, Streamlabs set up.
Okay.
So, I was playing, and then all of a sudden, my, viewer count went up by, I think 5 or something, and all these people started, spamming emotes into the chat, but I didn't realise, because I don't know if you've seen it, when you're streaming straight from the PlayStation, and in the chat at the right hand side, it doesn't show you the emote, it just shows you the shortcut. Instead of the laughing face, it's lol in caps.
Yeah.
So someone raided me, I can't remember who it was, and they started spamming, a very nice thing for them to do, considering I was at the very start of streaming at that point. I had no idea raids were a thing, so I genuinely thought oh god, the hacker known as 4chan has got my details.
Oh no.
Oh god, they're here to harass me. So it's I kept it very quiet, and then someone was like, oh, he's so focused in the game he hasn't noticed a raid, and I was like, oh hey guys, how you doing?
God.
Because I was really, like, I genuinely thought I was being trolled. Like, I
Oh my
thought
God.
trolling, or not trolling, I thought raiding was, like, a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, I had no idea what it was, and I felt so bad afterwards when I looked it up and realised actually raiding's a good thing, and I'm kind of more comfortable now. But I think back then, because it was only my friends that were watching my streams, really, and the odd, like, one or two people who would occasionally come by, but yeah, like, all these, like, new people coming in and me not knowing how to react, I was just like, what do I do? Help! Help me!
Exactly.
So that was embarrassing. I've never done it since. Like, I'm really grateful for all raids and things, but yeah, it was so embarrassing at the time. I was just like, oh no.
Yeah.
And the other one, I have to admit, there's been one or two where it's like, usually when I'm going to raid someone, I'll ask the chat if, like, they'll recommend someone, but there's been one or two cases where I do, like, the Russian roulette, and I'm like, right, this random person is playing the same game as me, I'll just, I'll raid them.
Yeah.
And it's either they won't, like, respond to it, or, like, because there was one guy that I did raid and he just didn't respond, but I wouldn't mind as much if it was, like, a similar thing where it was like, oh, he didn't know I was raiding, or he didn't know what a raid was, but he had, like, notifications and everything, like, flashing up on the screen, and I was kind of like, oh boy, you're rude. It's like,
Oh no.
But, like, that is honestly the worst it's got. Like, it's not, like, as you were saying, like, getting dissed by someone. I think that's horrible.
Yeah.
Hopefully that doesn't happen to me, but
I hope not.
it's like, touch wood.
Just, put a paranoia into your brain there now.
Yeah, kind of just like a kind of final point. Well, first of all, what would you say are some of your favourite moments from streaming?
Oh,
Like, have there been any, like, moments where you've kind of just, like, sat back and been, like, clipping your own memories, almost?
it was when I was drawing some of the viewers in Photoshop for the first time, based purely on what their username is.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a couple of people like Bella and Puke as well, and S Banks actually. So just based on what their username is, so I'll take Puke for example, because that's a good one. Puke's username is Puke Bags, so that was an easy one. I'm very bad at drawing. I think that's part of it. It's just that I have no artistic talent in that sense at all. So I drew a bag getting sick, literally Puke Bags, just based off the username. It was such a good laugh. That stream was such a good laugh. One of my nice followers, Antec, for some reason I imagined a deer for Antec, and I think we discovered it was because Antec kind of sounds like antlers, and I have a stupid brain. So I think that's where that came from. Yeah. But the funniest thing that we had done with Antec is that I gave him, like, human feet and human ears, and it was just this disgusting looking deer. And yeah, that broke me. Like, I literally got myself into stitches laughing at that because it was just so horrid. So yeah, I think that's probably the big standout moment that I have. That was that I really liked.
That's amazing. Because I do remember, I think I came in at the end of that stream. That was a good stream, I must admit.
Yeah, I had drawn you as well. I had drawn you as a tsunami of Satsumas.
Yes, and I'll treasure that memory forever.
Instantly forgotten about.
Oh dear. Oh no, I remember. It's like, what I remember.
How could I forget?
How could I forget? It's hanging up on my wall just now. If you look at my camera, oh wait. No, it was definitely. I do agree. It was, from what I saw of it anyway. Like, I was kind of like, oh look, it's Puke. I'm like, oh god, it's Puke.
Yeah.
I suppose, kind of like, to wrap up on what we were discussing, for all those, hopeful, streamers out there who are wanting to take the plunge, I suppose, and, like, take up streaming, what would your tips, I suppose, be?
Just don't, just stop, give up. Don't. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo your point and say don't steal our viewers.
Yeah. Just like, there's only a certain amount of viewers. We need them.
Yeah, there's clearly only 10 viewers on Twitch. Okay, yeah, and they're all ours. You take 5 at the weekend. I'll take 5 the next weekend.
That sounds like a good share.
Yeah,
it's like we're the two parents splitting up now, and
the custody.
Yeah,
you can take the Discord. You can take the Discord at the weekend, and I'll take them during the week.
Lovely. on a serious note,
Yeah.
my advice to new people wanting to start off streaming would be just do it. Just do it. Don't wait till you have super good equipment. Just do it with whatever you have right now. Even if that is just like your PlayStation headset, that you think, oh, the microphone from the PlayStation headset's going to be crap. Just do it. Don't let that get you down. Don't let any of the quality issues get you down. Just go for it. It's a lot to take in at first. There's a lot to learn, but just go with it. Don't look at it like as a mountain. Just look at it as the first few steps, because as you do it, as you stream, you add something a little more each time. You just go, oh, this I can do this now. Oh, I can do that. Oh, I'm after learning to do this. You know what? For next stream, I think I want to be able to do this thing. And you just add these things one by one, nice and slowly. There's no race. You're not expected to get off the starting line and just pelt down the road. You can take your time with it, and it becomes so much less daunting when you take it step by step. And just I hate this term. I really hate when people use this, but it's your journey, right?
It's the grind. Yeah.
but that is what it is.
Yeah.
It's this journey, and you gotta go slow with it. You just gotta rock it, you know.
I mean, it is. It's like taking it at your own pace as well, and just letting yourself grow.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, not everyone's gonna, not everyone's gonna, like, immediately, unless, like, there's, like, a freak accident or something where immediately out the gate you're gonna be, like, popular, and, it's, like, for the majority of people, it is just that kind of, as you said, like, that journey of just taking it at your own pace and just enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing with, like, getting super big anywhere, be that with photography, be that with music, be that with YouTube or streaming or as an actor, anything like that, it's luck. And it's the luck of who sees you and when they see you, that it all just kind of aligns and clicks together. That a lot of these people that we're watching, all these massive YouTubers and massive streamers and stuff, they've worked very, very hard, but they've gotten very, very lucky as well.
Yeah.
Someone big has also copped them and gave them a shout out because they felt like, oh, this is going to be a big person, or I like them. And, you never know when that's going to happen. I mean, don't expect it to happen, but that luck, that element of luck, is a massive, massive thing for a lot of people.
Because, I mean, it is. It's like, even when we're streaming, it's like, it's whether you're in the right place at the right time. Like, if you hadn't been streaming that day, NAF might not have raided you.
And I wouldn't be on this podcast.
Exactly, yeah. And
my life would have been so much. What? Sorry.
I was going to say, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Don't worry, I'll be having a word with NAF after the stream. I'll be giving him a good talking to. It's just like, now see here. It is. It's like that idea of, like that butterfly effect. Like if you're streaming on a particular day, or it's just circumstance, really. The circumstance of when and where, and getting the opportunities. And yeah, if everyone got, the opportunity at the same time, like it would be exciting then.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone would just be doing exactly the same thing, and there'd just be like so many red pandas out there. Oh god. It's a horrifying thought.
One thing just to bring up that's not stream related at all, just near the end of this, to kind of have a little story, if you don't mind.
No, absolutely, go for it.
So I don't know if this has ever happened to you, or anybody who's listening, and I would love to know if this has happened to you. So if this type of thing has happened to you before, something similar, please let me know. So I was in the supermarket the other day, and it was kind of a smaller one. Super Value is what it's called. I don't think anyone else has this. It's a very Irish chain. And I'm just walking around and I'm just taking my time, and I'm like, God, the music in here it's actually decent. Like, you're not used to supermarkets having good music.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, is that no? They literally have Kanye West playing. I was like, that's strange. And then Kendrick Lamar came on, and I was like, okay, that's something weird is going on. But I'm just walking around and just vibing out to the music that they have on. I'm like, this is really, really good. And then it's like Tyler, the Creator, and then Villagers come on. It's a band that I really like. I'm like, this is crazy. It's all these songs that I really, 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 really like. And I'm just walking in, I get to the checkout, and I'm scanning my items through, and there's a girl behind the counter, and I say to her, the music in here is really good today. And she's like looking at me confused, and she's going, what do you mean the music is really good today? It's like, it's just, normally it's just like of, the usual stuff. But today it's like, it's really quite good. Well, doesn't it turn out that when I had unplugged my phone from my headphones, it just kept playing. The little speaker kept playing in my pocket. So I was just walking around listening to my own playlist in my pocket, coming out of my phone the whole time, thinking that it was the store's radio.
Oh, that is my nightmare.
And there I was, just like, hey, you guys are great. Your music's fantastic here today. And she's just like, what?
Oh, that was honestly like I recently got like some wireless headphones, and I keep like taking them out to make sure I'm still, because sometimes it's really like you're walking by somebody and then they look at you and they're just like looking at you because you're walking by them, they don't mean anything by it, but you've got the earphones in and you're like, oh my god, they can hear this music. So it's like I take them out and I'm like, oh right, no, it's okay. I'm still okay, Virgil.
I know exactly what that's like.
Oh, that's amazing though. Well, at least the people around you would have appreciated it and been like...
I don't think they would have. It was specifically music tailored for me.
Like some granny in the background, just like, oh, some banging tunes today. Some very good tunes. Oh, that's amazing. Never got to check my earphones to make sure. Just before we wrap up, first of all, Alex, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you very much
Honestly,
for having me.
No, it's always appreciated. And thank you for being the very first streamer to be on for 2021 in Satsunami.
It is an honour.
Where can these lovely people who are listening to this podcast find you?
They can find me on https, okay, :// www. I hope you're listening carefully. There's three
Get a
W's
pencil.
there.
Yeah.
twitch.tv / Alex Blurry. That's where you can find me.
Got you. Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me in real life. You'll find all those places. Just follow me on Twitch.
Yeah.
So, if you follow me on Twitch, you'll see the links for everything else. It's all groovy. You don't have to, though, but if you do, I'd really appreciate it.
No, you do have to. No. If you're listening to this podcast, you're contractually obligated to go follow him right now. So please go and follow him.
Amazing.
Yeah. No, in all seriousness. Yeah. Go follow Alex. He's an awesome streamer, awesome person. Go do it. Go do it. I dare you. I double dare you.
And everybody follow Satsu.
Please follow me. I've
Clearly
got,
following you.
Yeah. I've got non-existent kids to feed. Please. Please give me money so I can pretend to feed them.
Please give me money so I can try and get the kids back.
Yeah.
She took them from me. She took the weans.
Yeah. She took the wins. So yeah, if you want to follow me, on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, or indeed TikTok, still don't know how to use it, you can follow me at Satsunami42 and all of those. And yeah, once again, Alex, thank you so much for jumping on. It was a pleasure. It was great.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you all so much for dropping in. As always, stay safe, stay awesome, and most importantly, stay hydrated.